In today's video, we're going to take a look at how the new feature in Ruby Profiles can greatly enhance the automation of your laser system. It's the first feature I've seen like this in any laser program, and it can certainly make your life and your business success a lot greater. When I first started in the engraving industry, we did all our engraving manually with a machine called a pantograph. In a lot of larger trophy and engraving shops, it was not hard to see over 10 people running engraving machines during busy season. Then along came CNC engravers. All of a sudden, the 10 people that were doing the engraving jobs, it was only one person. However, that one person was quite skilled, and that hourly rate that they needed to be paid was a lot greater. When lasers came to the industry, the laser machine was faster, which decreased production costs, and most importantly, it allowed the operator to not have to be a skilled machinist like they were on a CNC style machine. A less skilled operator typically was good with computer skills. A less skilled operator typically means a lower pay scale. We still need a computer savvy operator to run the laser, or we did anyways. Well, Ruby has given us a new tool to help us lower our labor costs. This tool is called Profiles and allows us to eliminate having to work with a specific file right to the laser queue. This eliminates all the steps of having to create jobs that you would normally have seen in previous versions of Ruby. Profiles was first introduced in 2.9. It's continued on in 2.10, and I've been told it's going to be upgraded substantially in 2.11. I'm running in 2.10, so we haven't reached 2.11 yet, so hopefully we'll get to see it soon, and then I'll probably do another video once I see this new version. I will see a new upgrade to the feature in 2.11. Let's take a look at how efficiency is improved in the workplace through automation. If a workplace operates efficiently, it reduces the time your team takes to complete their duties. When you or your team completes tasks faster, this can reduce the time you're at work, which naturally lowers labor costs. It may also mean you can do the same task with fewer people. Automation is assigning a particular task to a machine or software program instead of a person. If you automate smaller or less essential duties, your team can focus on larger tasks and have less to do overall. This is the beauty of the Ruby Profiles setup. What it allows you to do is to have artwork not done by the operator, the laser operator, but done maybe by an artist or somebody more qualified to work on software. The operator, all they need to do is to receive the file on the screen of the laser, put the appropriate material in the laser, and then press the go button. They don't have to be a skilled operator like they would have had to have been in earlier days. Nowadays, because their skill set is less, then their hourly rate is less. This is very important, and it also frees up the operator so that really all they're doing is running the machine, and any of the software designing is done by somebody else in another location. Typically what we're going to do as a first step is we're going to generate a folder on the host computer, or it could be a Dropbox folder on the host computer. For this example, I'm going to call it Baltic Birch 3mm. We need to populate that folder with the files that we want the laser software Ruby to read. These files can come from a cloud-based location, could come from a website such as Artwork, or it could be coming either from the internal network where the laser is from an artist, or it could be coming from an artist from a remote location. It's designed to take a file, and that file will be stored in the Baltic Birch folder. Once the file is in the Baltic Birch folder, Ruby will look for that folder. once that file's in the Baltic Birch folder, then Ruby will be monitoring that folder. Once it sees a file come into the folder, it will automatically assign the material settings to that actual file. Once the file has the material settings assigned to it, and there may be some other requirements that the file may need in terms of scaling, or if it's going on a rotary attachment, etc., Ruby will assign those, and then the file can be either processed in 3 locations. One could be the design tab, one could be as a job, or right into the queue. All 3 work fine, and it really depends on the situation that you're wanting to bring that file into and how the software is going to define where that file is going to go. So it's really quick, very easy. This is like, if for those that are familiar, this is like the old Unidriver that we had, same sort of process. But the nice thing about this is it's built right into Ruby, and it works very, very fast and very efficiently. Let's take a look at using Ruby. So let's take a look at using profiles in Ruby. You notice that I'm in the Manage screen, and I know that because if I come up to the top here, you know that it's highlighted in red. And again, in this area here, I've got designs, jobs, data sources, fonts. This is the area that normally I would be importing logos or jobs to be used in Ruby. You'll also notice on the right here, I've got a lasers. In this case, I've got one laser running, and I've got profiles. If I click on profiles, you notice that I've got a job manager here. It's connected, and I've got one profile already created. It's Baltic Birch 6mm. The job manager allows me to open it up, and you can see that the 6mm Baltic Birch is pointing to a directory called 6mm Baltic Birch, which is located in the desktop folder in profiles. Now, I created profiles myself. It's not that Ruby creates it automatically, so you can have this set up any way you want. I'm just using profiles, so it's easy to recognize which folders are in here and what they're doing. Again, if I want to, I can delete it, and you'll notice that the Baltic Birch folder is associated with the X4 Speedy 400 Flex machine. If I double click on the profile that I've made right here, the Baltic Birch 6mm, you notice that it comes up into the profile section. I can also access this if I go back to the Manage screen by coming up to the 3 lines here beside the Trotec logo. Click on that, and you notice that I've got profiles right here. Now, just a side note, just remember in this video I'm using 2.10 Ruby. 2.11 will be coming out soon. It'll have a number of new features in it. Just remember that the 2.10 only supports the import of PDF files, and only 1 page at a time that's in the PDF. If you're bringing in a normal logo or a normal job from Corel or Illustrator or AutoCAD, those are, you can easily do that in the Manage screen just with the normal import function. However, in profiles, right now only PDF is supported. I've been told that the other formats that we're importing into Manage now will also work in the 2.11 update. Now, if you look over here on the profiles, you notice that I've got the 6mm open right here. And because this one is open, you'll notice that there are a number of features that are in the profile that I can sort of go over right now. You notice that I have a title here, Baltic Birch 6mm. I've created the folder on this date. I've got some tags in here. Again, tags are really good because if you've got a lot of profiles, then It's kind of nice sometimes to have tags here because again you could come in and say, well, I just want wood, and it'll bring up all the tags that all that have like all the profiles that have the tag wood. And you'll also notice that I had this profile associated with a laser machine, the Speedy 400. I could have two lasers running on the same version of Ruby, and it's kind of nice to have a tag in here that might say something like Speedy 400 or Speedy 360. So if we're looking for profiles for the Speedy 400, then we can search for them that way. And if we have them set up for Speedy 360, then again we can have the tag which would show that it's associated with the Speedy 360. So it allows us to bring up and find profiles very quickly. I use the tag function a fair bit in Ruby, and it's something that I try to tell anybody that I train that it's a good procedure to follow. If we look at the functions under the device here that's assigned to the profiles, you notice the first thing that comes up is Baltic Birch 6mm. This is a material setting. If I click on the down arrow here, you notice that I only have two material settings in Ruby. I've deleted all the material settings along with all the jobs and designs and that because I just want to make it clean and easy to understand. If I click on the 6mm, that would be the way I would select the material. I can also go to the material settings, and I can actually see in here what the material settings are for the Baltic Birch 6mm. And this is kind of nice in case you need to check something over, that you can come in and take a look at this. You notice that I've got 100 power, 100 speed. The source is CO2, DPI is 500. There's really nothing in the advanced section. In the cut function, I've got 100 power, 1.5 speed, and it's CO2, and it's 100 and it's 1,000 frequency. If I go to the advanced section, you'll notice that I've got the air assist turned on. So if I cancel out of here and I move down, you'll notice that you can actually have a rotary attachment associated in a profile. And this is quite nice. If you're doing a lot of, say, Yeti mugs, you could have a profile for a certain Yeti mug. So maybe, a Rebel you might have set up, and then you may have something set up for a different type of Yeti mug or a different mug that you might be using from another manufacturer. And again, you could also put a tag up the top here that said Yeti mug, and again, that would bring up any profile that you had assigned to a Yeti mug. You've got the diameter, and you've got the rotation, and you've got scale. We can go down to the position setting here, and again, we can put in some positional settings. And the one part that is very important is the processing steps. You notice right now for the Baltic Birch, I've got 3 settings enabled here. Save as a design, save as a job, send to the queue. Which one you choose will sort of depend on your workflow. Now, normally the process in Ruby, as we all know, typically is we import a PDF file, comes in a design, we open the design, we create a job out of it, we take the job, and then we send it to the laser machine. Well, that's sort of what we've done right here with the 3 settings enabled. So I can bring in the job automatically through the profile, and when the PDF goes into the Baltic Birch 6mm folder, it will bring in the file, it will save the PDF as a design, it'll also save it as a job, and it'll send to the queue. And that will sort of depend on what you want to do later on with the file. Some people may want to use the artwork, at a later date. Some people may want to have the job there just in case they need to rerun it. And if we send it to the queue, then I eliminate all those steps of having to go import, create a job, and then send it to the laser. It's all done automatically. And if I want, I can undo, deselect any one of these. So save, maybe I only want a job file and a queue file, or I could just get a queue file. So again, however you want to select this will dictate how the file is brought in. I'll leave it with the 3 here. Anchor settings are if you're looking for a starting point. on the table. That's different than the 00 position. And we've got some pre-processing options here. Inner geometries first, overlapping cut lines. I've got set up for lines only right now. Like if I hit the down arrow here, I could say full. I could turn it off if I want. Vision compensation. This would be if you're using a job control vision camera. And again, you've got some options there to select. If you go down here, I've got the design grid settings and I've got stamp settings. And again, if you're doing rubber stamps, this is quite nice because I can, I have some functions here that normally I might use on a rubber stamp, and those can easily be loaded into the PDF file that's coming in. So let's just enable that again. And I can come down here, and if I made any changes, then I can click on the Save button, and that would save any of the changes that I made to the physical profile itself. Once I'm done, I can click on the Manage screen, and I'm going to save the settings, and I'm ready to run this profile job right here. So if I go out into the directory, you'll notice that I've got profiles, and I've got two folders underneath profiles, one called 3mm Baltic Birch and one 6mm Baltic Birch. If I open either one of them, there's nothing in either one of these folders. So if I want to do a job, let's go to CorelDRAW. I've got a job here ready to go. It's got basically an engraving, and then there's a cut function on the outside of the actual paw. Very easy to do this. All I need to do is to go into the file, go File, Export, and then all I need to do is to go Baltic Birch, 6mm, and you notice I'm saving it into the 6mm Baltic Birch folder. I say Export, and say OK. You'll notice a little circle will appear. That's the file being transferred to Ruby. I can open up Ruby, and you'll notice that in the design, I've got Baltic Birch 6mm. In the jobs, I've got Baltic Birch 6mm. And if I go to the queue, guess what? I've got 6mm Baltic Birch. So if you remember, under the profiles, I had the three options selected. So now I've got three places where the file has been deposited. If I go to the 6mm Baltic Birch folder, you'll notice that the folder is empty because the function of Ruby is to take the file, bring it into Ruby, and then delete the file. So if you're working from Corel, that's actually kind of good because sometimes people complain that they don't want to have a Corel file and a PDF file because sometimes they don't know exactly which one is which. So the nice thing is we totally eliminated the PDF file. We still have the CDR file, which again you can save if that's the way you're sort of keeping contact of all your files, and the file is also in Ruby. And if we were just sending to the queue, I wouldn't even be saving it as a design or a job, and that PDF would totally disappear once the job was done. But it's kind of nice sometimes just to have a job there in case somebody comes back and there's a problem, or or maybe somebody needed an extra one or something like that. So you may keep it for a certain amount of time and then basically delete it. So if I go back to the manage function here, let's just get rid of these files here that we've done because I don't need those anymore. So I'm going to get rid of the job. I'm going to get rid of the design. And if I go to the queue, let's get rid of that one. So let's create a profile. And they're quite easy to do. All I need to do is to go in here and then go into the profile section. And I'm going to use the existing Baltic Birch 6mm. I could create a new one. I could click on the dots, the three dots here. And I could say add a new profile. I could import from a file that I'd saved somewhere else. So again, if somebody accidentally deleted one of my profiles, I can bring it back in. If I select that file, I can actually export it. So if I come here, I can export that file. So if I want to keep an offline copy, I can do that. And if I want to delete the profile, I can do that. So I can just modify this and then do a save as new. Or if I want, I can come in here to the dots and I can say add new profile. And you notice I've got a new profile called 2. So let's call this Baltic Birch. $3mm. And you notice my creation date is today, and I can put a tag in here. I could say 3mm, and I could put this as wood. And if I want to put in a X4-5012 or Speedy 400, I could do that. Let's assign a material setting here. I'm going to use 3mm. I can go to the material details. You notice that everything is the same except the speed's faster because I'm working with a thinner material. And again, I'm only working with send to the queue. So I'm not going to create a design. I'm not going to create a job. I'm just going to send it to the queue. Everything else is going to stay the same here. If I want, I could say, overlapping cut lines. Let's say lines only. And let's save that profile. Now, I've got my profile done. All I need to do now is to go back to the manage screen. And all I need to do now is map that to a directory. Coming in here, selecting the folder, which in this case is 3mm. Say select folder. And if I go back to Ruby, if I go to manage mappings, you'll notice now that I've got 3mm is working with that 3mm Baltic Birch folder, and it's working on the Speedy 400. So I got 2 profiles. One goes to the 6mm folder, one goes to the 3mm folder. All I need to do now is say close, and all I need to do is go back to Corel. All I need to do now is go File, Export, and I'm going to go to Profiles. I want the 3mm folder this time, and then we'll say Baltic Birch 3mm. Say Export, say OK. And if I go to Ruby, you'll notice if I go to, there's no design, no job, and in the queue is just a file. So the nice thing about this is that I've been in Corel. I could be Illustrator, anything I can create a PDF in. I created a file in Illustrator or CorelDRAW. I can save that CorelDRAW file, so if I need to come back to it, and I like working in Corel, let's say I do, then I don't need to worry about having multiple copies. I have one copy done, and this is so much better than even using the print manager, because all the functions that you would get in the print manager would be in the profiles. So it's very, very fast, and it's very easy, and it will eliminate those issues where people don't like to import the file, create the job, send it to the queue. This can all be done at once. This is so easy to use. This is so powerful, and it's just going to get better and better. So that's profiles in 2.10. Hopefully when 2.11 comes out, we'll have a lot more functionality, and I will do another video, and hopefully we'll be able to pinpoint a lot more excellent features that are going to be coming out, and that are going to make your life and your business a lot better. Thanks for watching the video on profiles. Hopefully that you've seen that this is a really, really powerful feature that's in the Ruby software. If you're not using Ruby, I think it's time maybe to make the change. This is certainly going to be a game changer for a lot of people. If you already are using Ruby, then hopefully this has helped you find some more initiative for using the software to its fullest extent. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. And like I said, when 2.11 comes out, hopefully there'll be some new features with the profiles settings, and I'll be able to do a follow-up video on that update.